Hi all. In the realm of track and field and cross country, our endurance races serve as an invaluable assessment tool for us as coaches. They allow us to gauge the current fitness level of our athletes and their performance curve. The performance in these races is an intricate and careful amalgamation of various physiological aspects, psychological factors and external influences such as injury or other medical conditions, nutrition, hydration and sleep patterns. The multitude of variables involved in determining race fitness ultimately culminates at the actual event itself, where we as coaches and our athletes must have devised a winning strategy. To approach a race with the highest prospects of success, it's really key here to develop a plan that addresses and eliminates variables ahead of time, rather than attempting to tackle them during the moments of peak mental and physical stress whilst racing. A well-crafted race strategy can be formulated by considering the following questions, and you must always keep these in mind. What are the essential requirements for success in any given race at any given distance? What are the specific needs of that race and the individual personal preferences of the athlete in terms of how they perform? And what is the most efficient means for achieving measurable success given the athlete's current fitness levels? So look, by answering these questions, we can work with our athletes to create a unique action plan that maximises the prospect of success in each and every race. And the fundamental structure for this plan will be determined by the race distance, whilst more advanced methods will take into account the strength of the competition, weather conditions, the race's importance, and the athlete's current fitness, strengths, and weaknesses. Endurance running events are categorised by physiologists as combined zone events. And these reflect the fact that race distances of 800 metres and greater require substantial contributions from both aerobic and anaerobic energy systems. And the extent to which each energy system contributes depends on the time required to complete the particular race distance. Endurance events are also characterised by the comfort zone and the critical zone, with the comfort zone being primarily influenced by aerobic energy system development. The critical zone is dominated by anaerobic energy system development. The critical zone is often considered the stage of a race where success or failure is most up for grabs, the point where the race is either won or lost. And since the critical zone typically occurs near the end of most distance races, success in this zone is heavily influenced by how effectively the athlete managed the comfort zone stages earlier in the race. The range of endurance race distances that we would typically be exposing our athletes to, together with cross country, is vast. With the 5,000 metre distance being something like 6.25 times greater than the 800 metre distance, and the time required to complete the longer distance being more than 8 times greater for most athletes. Consequently, the longer the race, the greater the duration of the comfort zone. The physical ability to maintain the most efficient running economy during longer races becomes the most critical racing tactic during this stage. And running economy in distance running is unique to track and field events, and it's what sets these events apart from many others. Remember, sprinters rely on strength and power to maintain a high yet deteriorating velocity as sprint distances increase, while distance runners use running economy to sustain their velocity over increasing distances. There are 3 approaches to planning and implementing racing tactics in an endurance race. And these are the things that we want to consider. There's the biological approach, treating the body as a living machine, ignoring the competition and focusing almost entirely on achieving the greatest energy system efficiency possible. And this often involves pacing and even pacing throughout a long comfort zone, followed by a rapid sprint through the critical zone. Then we have the competition-based approach. This focuses solely on the competition whilst disregarding biological aspects. This typically leads to a challenging comfort zone that depletes anaerobic energy reserves, resulting in a critical zone where the athlete merely tries to hang on and hope for the best in terms of the competition being not too close behind. Then we have the combined approach, and this incorporates both biological and competition-based elements. And this is the most effective strategy because it essentially balances the body's physiological needs with the competitive aspects of the race. And this method involves monitoring the competition while maintaining a well-managed comfort zone, enabling the athlete to utilise their anaerobic energy system in the critical zone very effectively. In order to optimally apply these racing tactics, you have to consider a number of factors, but the ones that are most important here are pace. Developing an appropriate pacing strategy is critical for success in any endurance race. And a pacing plan should account for the athlete's fitness level, the course's terrain, and the weather conditions on race day itself. An even or negative split pace is generally the most effective here, as it allows the athlete to conserve energy for the critical zone. Then we have positioning. Proper positioning within the race pack can significantly impact an athlete's performance. Runners typically should avoid getting boxed in because this may require extra energy just to break free. And instead what they need to do here is to try and maintain an optimal position that allows for strategic moves when needed. Then we have mental toughness, and we've talked about this before, but developing mental resilience is essential for endurance athletes. Overcoming the physical and mental challenges of racing requires focus, determination, and the ability to stay positive even during difficult moments. And visualization techniques and mental rehearsal can be valuable tools for building mental strength here. Then we have flexibility. Whilst it's essential to have a well-planned race strategy, athletes must be adaptable and ready to adjust their tactics based on unforeseen circumstances. The ability to adapt quickly to changing race dynamics, such as a sudden increase in pace or the need to avoid an obstacle, can be the difference between success and failure here. Then we have nutrition and hydration. Ensuring adequate nutrition and hydration before and during any race is critical for optimal performance. Athletes should have a well-practiced nutrition plan that includes proper fueling and hydration strategies to avoid any potential issues during a race. So, a comprehensive race strategy in endurance events should encompass a variety of different factors here. And just summarising some of these, that's pacing, positioning, mental toughness, flexibility, nutrition, hydration. Typically by combining a thorough understanding of the body's physiological needs with a keen awareness of the competitive aspects of a race, we as coaches together with our athletes can build a winning strategy that maximises each athlete's prospects of success in both the comfort and the critical zones of the race. If you want to know more about this and you're fiercely fighting competitive races throughout the season, please make sure to spend a bit of time with myself, Rob or Mark or any of the other coaches at the track just to get the heads up on how we can help.